We, I believe, talked through at least part of number one. Well, is that true? Did we go through number one together?
No.
Okay, we didn't. So here is our investigation. We are representing inverse variation functions. All right, and we'll go ahead and talk through number one. So 1A, it tells us that Junior Johnson has an average speed of 125 miles per hour. Pant 1 with 115 miles an hour. What's the difference in the time? In order to figure that out, we had to find each of the times. And in order to do that, we have to relate speed, distance, and time. So Sherlyn, can you explain to me the relationship between speed, distance, and time? How could I write an equation that relates those three variables? Sherlyn. Sherlyn, are you there? Also, if you guys aren't answering me, and that could mean that you maybe joined the meeting but then aren't there. So I need you to actually respond to me when I ask you a question. Okay, so Sherlyn, I'm putting your name aside to investigate what happened later. Zion, what's the relationship between speed, distance, and time? Zion, are you there? Zion. And if for some reason your microphone's not working, send me a message on Remind so I at least know, or write something in the chat so I know. But Zion, I need you to respond. Okay. Jerome?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, what's the relationship between speed, distance, and time? How can I write an equation relating these three variables?
Wouldn't it be? Well.
So how do you find speed? What is speed?
Can I say it?
I really want Jerome to do it real quick. So we'll call speed S,
Okay.
D is distance, thank you though, and T is time. Okay, we want to relate those things. Jerome, so all of you are juniors and probably have driven a car. If you drive a car, there is no reason you should not know this. When you drive a car, your speed is in the units miles per hour. So how do you think we would relate distance and time to speed? So Jerome, speed is what? How do I measure speed?
I'm so confused right now because I just got my paper out. I was having problems logging in and I just got in here.
Okay, so how do you drive, Jerome?
No, I'm a sophomore.
Okay, but you know what unit you, like when you drive, you know what unit speed limits are in, right?
Miles per hour.
Yeah, miles per hour. So what does that mean? Which one of those things is a distance and which one of those things is a time?
So miles would be speed? No, the distance.
No.
And
yeah.
Per
miles
hour, it would
distance,
be the time.
An hour is time. Very good. So that means that our speed is equal to, so if I have miles per hour, how would I write that mathematically?
Isn't it 1 times what?
Miles, what does the per mean? What
It's times.
No, it's dividing miles over hours. So how many miles do you drive in one of those hours? Okay. So if miles was our distance and hours was our time, how should I relate that to speed? Speed is Jerome, come on.
Isn't that the equation?
Yes,
Speed equals miles
just
divided
say
by
it.
hours.
Yes. D over T, distance over time. If any of you drive, you should know that. This is basic life information. So speed is distance over time. So we are given speeds for each of these dates. We are told that Junior Johnson won with a speed of an average speed of 125 miles per hour. Okay, so that's going to be equal to some distance over some time. And then we are told that Panch won with an average speed of 150 miles per hour, and that's going to be equal to some distance over some time. Now we have two variables in each of those equations, but in order to solve for time, which is what it's asking us to do, we need to know the distance. So Zion, I'm going to give you another chance. What is the distance that we travel in the Daytona 500? What does it say in the little background information stuff from above? Zion, is your mic muted? Can you make sure your mic is unmuted? Your little bubble keeps popping up. I need you to respond.
You said what?
Okay, there we go. So what is the distance that we travel for the Daytona 500? It tells us in the background information at the top of the page in this little paragraph right here. How far?
Didn't it say, hold on, I got you. It says 500, right?
Yes, 500 miles. So 125 should be equal to 500 over T, and 120, I'm sorry, and 150 to be equal to 500 over T, because they both drove in a 500-mile race. Now we need to solve each of these equations for T because it's asking for the difference in time. So Annie, can you tell me how to solve these equations? What's the very first step in getting this T by itself?
Is the 125 in T?
So we need to get this T out of the denominator. How do we do that?
I'm not sure.
So when something's in the denominator, it is dividing the thing on top. What is the opposite of dividing?
Multiplying.
There we go. So we need to multiply each side by T. Okay, and we're going to do that for both of these equations because they're set up exactly the same. So now I have 125T equals 500 and 150T equals 500. Now there's on both of these equations, there is still something with the T and we need to get rid of it. Annie, can you tell me how to get rid of this 125?
Subtract it by 500.
No, I cannot do that because then I would get 125T minus 500 equals 0, and I would have more stuff with the T. So what operation is going on between 125 and T right now? Y'all, this is honors. 125, and then we have nothing written in between, and then a T. What operation?
We
Are
divide.
Yeah, we need to divide because right now they are being multiplied, and the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to do that for both of these. To get the T by itself, that is how we solve equations. So the 125s and the 150s are going to cancel on the left-hand sides of each of those equations. And you guys have, this was last night's homework. All of you should have done this already. So Amaya, can you tell me what number you get when you divide 500 by 125?
4.
Beautiful, thank you. So 4 hours. And Destiny, can you tell me what you get when you divide 500 by 150?
I got 3.33 hours.
Beautiful. 3, and it was the 3 was repeating, I believe. Good. So this should be your answer for A. All right. This is how you solved it. What questions do you guys have on 1A? Okay, I'm going to assume that means no questions. We need to move along. So in part B, we are literally doing the exact same thing, but we have 2 different racers and 2 different speeds. So Delamar, can you tell me how to set up the equations for each? Delamar, I just got a remind message from you saying that your mic does not work. Can you send me a remind message telling me how to set each of these equations up so that I know that you are paying attention, and I will call on somebody else to do it for the class. So Shayla, can you tell me how to set these equations up?
T equals 500 over 148.
Good. Okay, so I want to talk through what Shayla just did. So Shayla recognized that we have 148 equals 500 over T, okay? But doing that every time and then doing all of this algebra in between gets annoying. So what Shayla said is, hey, I can multiply by T on both sides, get rid of it, and go ahead and divide, and recognize that every single time I will just be taking 500 and dividing by the speed. Okay, so in general, Shayla said that speed equals distance over time. I want time to be isolated. I'm sorry, you guys can't see this because this little bubble is in the way. Here we go. Okay, so we have speed is distance over time, but we want to isolate time, multiply by T on both sides. So TS equals D. I want to isolate T. So Shayla went ahead and said that time is always going to be distance over speed. We have our distance, we have our speed, okay? And what do you get when you did that, Shayla? What's 500 divided by 148?
3.37 and other numbers.
Okay, and this is hours. All right, great. Thank you very much. All right, and thank you, Delamar, for your response. Brandy, actually, I'll go ahead and say Delamar's response. So Delamar did the same sort of thing. And you said that we should have 500 over the speed, which is 173, which is perfect. And I'll go ahead and do the value for you. So you don't have to scramble to give me a response. Okay, and we should get 2.89 hours. Okay, so thank you, Delamar and Shayla, for doing this. I appreciate it. Great work. Okay, so those are your solutions for part A and part B. What questions do you guys have? We did part B a little bit differently than A, so please ask questions if you got confused about why.
Didn't it ask for the difference between them?
Thank you. Very good. Who asked that? That was awesome.
Me.